Hey team, Bill Storm here with you, and today we're going to continue our journey through John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. We're going to focus specifically on law number 11, which is the law of trade-offs, where John Maxwell says to grow, you must give something up. Boy, that really hit home with me. So I'm going to take you on a journey back in time to 1998 when I became the CEO of my own life. So at that point in my life, I had a job, a secure job. I knew exactly how much money I was going to make. I had health insurance benefits and most of the things that people would want. However, I was very unhappy because it didn't match the blueprint of how I wanted my life to be. Now, I didn't do anything about it. At this point, I had been married for 3 years, and I complained to my wife religiously about the fact that I wasn't happy. But I didn't have enough leverage on myself. I didn't have a big enough why at that point in order to do something, in order to make a sacrifice, or in order to give something up, which would be security, right? So when I actually got that leverage was February of 1998. So by that point, my wife was pregnant with our first child, my daughter, Samantha. And all of a sudden, I had this feeling like ice in my veins where I said, wow, if I don't do something about this now, I'm literally going to fail as a father before I even become one. Why? Because my number one moving towards value was freedom. I wanted to be one of those dads that was present for his children. I didn't want to miss out on any games or concerts or activities or even a trip to the principal's office if it was necessary, right? I wanted to be there for that. And I didn't want to be in a situation where I had to ask permission or deal with the fact that I couldn't be there present for my children for those activities because I was under someone else's thumb. That just wasn't acceptable to me. But I needed that. I needed that leverage, right? I needed my wife to be that far along in order for me to have a big enough why to do something about it now. So what did I do? Well, what I did was I ended up quitting my job, and it was a very scary thing to do because my goal was to start my own business. But I had never run my own business before. I didn't really know what I was getting into. So fear kicked in, and fear is a very, very real thing, which stops most of us in our tracks. But somehow I mustered up the courage in order to do it and put myself in what I would say was a real pickle, because at that point, my wife wasn't working either, right? She's 9 months pregnant, and our plan was for her to be able to stay home and raise our child or our children over time. That was a value that we had. So that left me as the sole breadwinner in the house, right? I was the only one that was going to be earning income. So to go from a place of security with income to, just jumping into the unknown and not knowing what the outcome was going to be, that is very, very scary. So that's why this lesson hits so hard with me and why it's so difficult for people. So John says, the law of trade-off emphasizes the necessity of making conscious decisions, right? Making a conscious decision to sacrifice certain things in order to gain others that are more valuable. And growth and progress often require relinquishing comfort, security, or familiar routines to achieve personal and professional advancements. So this is very, very difficult. Again, most people just won't make that leap of faith. The comfort and security of a secure paying job is just too strong of a pull for most people, and it stops them in their track. But here's the core concepts John talks about. Number one is intentional sacrifice. John says success often requires sacrificing short-term pleasures for long-term gains. Growth involves making choices that align with one's higher goals and aspirations. So you can see that in the short term, I had to give up a steady paycheck. I had to give up my health insurance benefits. That is a short term, or it became a short term pleasure, if you will. And I did it because I knew long term, if I was able to be successful creating my own business, my income would be substantially higher. I would have more freedom of time, and I would be able to purchase my own health insurance. But certainly, the thing that pulled me there was trying to align with my higher goals and aspirations. Number two is value assessment. Not all trade-offs are equal. Effective leaders assess the value of what they are giving up against the potential benefits of what they stand to gain. This requires a clear understanding of one's priorities and values. So again, when you take a look at the potential benefits, right, if you're weighing out the potential benefits, what I had to deal with internally was the fact that, yes, I'm going to struggle. I am going to experience some pain in the short term. But if I stay here, what is the cost? What is the cost of inaction? What is the cost if I stay there and I'm trapped in there? What is the potential, or what is my future income going to look like? What is my future freedom going to look like? What is my future relationships with my children and my family going to look like? And I stirred up enough pain in myself to make the decision that, okay, I can take some short-term pain for long-term gain. Number three, John says, personal responsibility. Taking responsibility for one's growth means recognizing that trade-offs are part of the journey. Individuals must take personal ownership of their decisions and the outcomes they produce. Zig Ziglar said it this way: if it is to be, it is up to me, right? Nobody is going to do it for you. If it is to be, it's up to me. Number four, embrace change. Growth necessitates change, which often comes with discomfort. Embracing change and be willing to step out of one's comfort zone is essential for achieving new levels of success. So this is so true, right? If we're not growing, we're dying, right? You've probably heard that said before. So embracing change and seeing it as a good thing, that when you plant that seed and you water it and you give it sun and you nurture it, right, you are going to see some change happen. And that is the same thing that happens with yourself as an individual, right? You have to try new things. You have to plant new seeds, and then you have to nurture those things until those become part of who you are, who you actually become as a person. Now, risk and reward is number five. Every trade-off involves some level of risk. The willingness to take calculated risk can lead to significant rewards, while playing it safe can result in missed opportunities. So this is a big deal, right? Because a lot of the pushback that you get, especially from friends and family, are saying, how can you do this, right? What if it doesn't work? And those are the kind of messages that they mean well, but they're not really helpful. But the thing is, if you're a leader, if you're a progressive thinker, and you've got confidence in yourself, you've already weighed out the pluses and minuses. You've already weighed out the consequences. So what you're doing is you're not being risky. You are making an educated decision. You are taking an educated risk. You are betting on yourself that you can show up and make those things happen. So in the end, what you have to do on a daily basis as a leader is you're constantly making those trade-offs. So yes, you may be giving something up, but it may also be a setup for something much better. So John ends with this, and he says, the law of trade-off teaches that every significant advancement comes with a cost. And understanding and managing these trade-offs is crucial for achieving sustained personal and professional growth. Hope you enjoyed that message today, and we'll see you next week with law number 12.